You're not ready for how this story ends. Even now, retelling it, I sometimes catch myself wondering how I didn't see everything sooner. This is a throwaway account, because my ex and her friends know my main, and trust me, they would absolutely stalk it. So here we go. I'm Ethan, 30 years old, a software engineer in Charlotte, North Carolina. Quiet. Organized. A man who likes routines. My idea of a good evening is cooking something simple and watching a documentary. Nothing wild. Brooke, my ex, was the opposite. She was 28, loud in a charming way, spontaneous in a chaotic way, and convinced the universe owed her something big if she just aligned her energy correctly. When we met, I found that spontaneity refreshing. She said I made her feel grounded. I said she made me feel alive. For a while, we believed that was balance. When she moved into my apartment, just for a few months, I didn't mind covering most of the rent. She was trying to start fresh after a messy financial year. I helped her pay down some debt. I bought her the camera she said she needed for content creation. I covered groceries, utilities, new decor she insisted would make her more productive. I told myself it was temporary, that all relationships have an imbalance phase. But over time, my support turned invisible. Expected, automatic. Dinner I cooked every night stopped being appreciated and became routine. My job became your little coding thing. My stability, which she once admired, became a punchline. Everything shifted the moment she fell into a new friend group, orbiting around a micro-influencer named Lila. Lila preached high-value dating, feminine empowerment, and choosing a man who elevates your lifestyle. From what I saw, she mostly elevated her follower count by repeating TikTok buzzwords over rented Lamborghinis. Still, Brooke idolized her. After a few weeks with them, she started making comments like, "You're great, Devin, just very safe. At some point you need bigger ambition. Stability is nice, but don't you want to be more than comfortable?" I didn't know safe had morphed into an insult until we met the group for drinks at a rooftop bar. The kind where a cocktail costs more than 2 days of my lunch budget. Lila greeted Brooke with a squeal. She greeted me with a glance. "So, Ethan," she said, stirring her drink without looking directly at me, "what's your vision? Your 5-year plan? And please don't say something boring like buying a house or climbing the corporate ladder." I laughed, trying not to take the bait. "I lead development on medical software. It's meaningful work. I'd love to lead a team someday." Her smile tightened. "That's sweet," she said. "But men who change the world don't chase stability. They chase legacy, ownership, risk." Brooke giggled. "He's just practical." It wasn't the words, it was the tone. The "he's harmless, don't mind him" tone. I waited for her to say something kind to balance it out. She didn't. The rest of the night was stories about men with presence and guys who know how to take charge. I paid the bill. No one thanked me. On the ride home, I tried to joke about it. "So, apparently I lack presence," I said. Brooke rolled her eyes. "Don't be dramatic. Lila just pushes people to level up." "By insulting them?" I asked. She ignored that and went back to scrolling her phone. From that night on, things only worsened. If I couldn't drop everything to take her somewhere last minute, I was married to my job. If I suggested she slow down on expensive purchases, she called me Dad. If I wanted a quiet weekend, I was killing the vibe. The new obsession of the friend group became their upcoming girls' trip to New Orleans. Every day they talked about meeting a better tier of men, experiencing real energy, and finally living like women who refuse to settle. I didn't love the language, but I didn't forbid the trip. I'm not that guy. Even if my gut twisted every time she flashed a secretive smile while texting someone. The week before they left, dozens of packages arrived. New heels. Dresses covered in sequins. Outfits she had never worn around me. I glanced at her credit card alerts. The amounts made my stomach drop. "Brand deals," she said quickly, waving me off. I knew it wasn't true. But I was tired of arguing. The night before her flight, her suitcase exploded across our bed. Tiny tops, glittering dresses, makeup piles, shoes still in boxes. She was glowing, buzzing with excitement, the kind she hadn't shown around me in months. "Brooke," I said softly, standing in the doorway, "we need to talk." She let out a deep sigh, like I'd already ruined her evening. "Can this not be right now? I'm trying to get into my trip mindset." "I'm serious," I said. "Your friends insult me. You don't defend me. I feel like I'm financing your life while being treated like an afterthought." She finally put her phone down and faced me. The warmth she was known for evaporated instantly. "You want honesty?" she asked. My throat tightened. "Yes." "Fine," she said. "My friends think you're sweet. But they also think your background. You're safe. Predictable. You're the guy women settle for when they give up on what they actually want." I stared at her, my chest numb. "And what do you actually want?" I asked quietly. She shrugged. "To be around people going somewhere. Men who take risks. Men who own things. I'm 28, Ethan. I can't waste my best years watching you debug code." Her words hit harder than any shout could. I swallowed. "Do you respect me at all?" She hesitated, barely a second, but that second was everything. "I appreciate what you've done," she said. "But I feel suffocated. I need this trip. When I come back, maybe we'll figure it out. Or maybe we won't. Don't make this complicated." She zipped her suitcase, grabbed her purse, and brushed past me. She patted my chest, like you'd pat a loyal dog, and said, "I'll text you when we land. Don't be weird." The door closed behind her. I stood there, listening to the elevator ding softly at the end of the hall. Predictable. Background. In that moment, something inside me shifted with perfect clarity. I realized I wasn't her partner. I was her safety net. Her sponsor. The fallback she assumed would always be there. And for the first time in years, I knew I wouldn't be. Brooke left for her trip early Friday morning. By the time her plane took off, I had already been awake for hours, sitting in the living room and replaying every word she'd said the night before. Predictable. Background. I wasn't angry. That was the strangest part. No yelling. No pacing. No spiraling. Just a heavy clarity settling over everything. Around 9 a.m., I stood up, walked to my desk, and opened the folder where I kept digital copies of receipts, bank statements, and lease documents. Seeing 2 years of expenses laid out in perfect chronological order felt like looking at a map, one that showed exactly where I had gone wrong. I loved her, but I had also funded her, supported her, carried her, and she had confused that with obligation. I closed the folder, grabbed my notebook, and wrote the first sentence of my plan. Leave before she gets home. Not to hurt her, not to punish her, but because I finally understood that staying meant slowly disappearing inside a life that wasn't mine. At noon, I called my friend Jordan. He didn't ask what happened. He just said, "I'll bring the truck." By the time he arrived, I had sorted every item in the apartment into 2 clear piles. Mine and not mine. What surprised me most was how little belonged to her. Most of the furniture, all the appliances, the cookware, the electronics, I had paid for everything. Her belongings were mostly clothes, makeup, notebooks filled with plans, and decorations she bought during her rebranding phases. We worked in silence. Not urgent. Not rushed. Just steady. Clothes went into boxes. Books into bags. Computer equipment into protective cases. Everything labeled, everything organized. Jordan paused halfway through carrying out my desk. "You sure about this?" he asked. "Yes," I said. "I should have done it a long time ago." By early evening, my half of the apartment was empty. The space echoed. It didn't feel sad. It felt honest. All that remained were Brooke's things scattered where she had left them, shoes on the floor, her ring light near the window, a half-finished vision board taped to the wall that said, "Become unstoppable," in glitter letters. Underneath it, a stack of credit card bills she kept meaning to open. I didn't touch any of it. Before walking out, I placed a small note on the kitchen counter. 5 simple words. Here's the space you wanted. No anger. No explanation. Just truth. Then I locked the door and handed Jordan the keys to drop off at the leasing office. That night, we moved my things into a small studio on the other side of the city. It was nothing special, old building, creaky elevator, but it was mine. I signed a 3-month lease and unpacked enough to sleep comfortably. For the first time in years, the silence felt peaceful. Around midnight, my phone lit up with a message from Brooke. Landed. Why aren't you answering? Smiley face. I put the phone face down and went to bed. The next message came an hour later. Did you fall asleep already? Where are you? Another came at 3 a.m. Ethan? Why does the rent portal show your name removed? Is this a glitch? I didn't answer any of them. The following night, she returned from her trip. At 11:42 p.m., my voicemail icon blinked. Her voice was frantic. Ethan, something happened. I walked in and the apartment is empty. Everything is gone except my stuff. I swear we were robbed. I already called building security. Please call me. Another voicemail arrived 40 minutes later. The fear had evaporated, replaced by rage. You can't just leave. What is wrong with you? You owe me a conversation. This is childish. Call me back right now. Jordan and I listened to it together. He shook his head. Classic, he said. The final voicemail came the next afternoon. The tone was completely different, small, broken. Ethan, the landlord called. He said the lease is in my name now. I can't pay this alone. I don't know what to do. Please, I need you. Just talk to me. I didn't respond. Over the next few days, the updates started reaching me from mutual acquaintances. Update 1. Her trip to New Orleans had been a disaster. The high-value men turned out to be guys handing out club flyers. They promised VIP treatment, then stuck the girls with a $1,600 bar tab. Her influencer friends ghosted her completely once she mentioned money problems. They didn't want negative energy around them. Update 3. She tried to find a roommate. No one wanted to take over a lease that expensive. Update 4. The landlord posted an official notice. She had 2 weeks to pay or vacate. Update 5. She moved back to her mother's house, into the same childhood bedroom she once said she'd never see again. After that, the calls stopped coming to me. Instead, they started going to Jordan, then to my mom, then, unbelievably, to my workplace. I ignored all of it. But 4 days later, something happened that even I didn't expect. A message request appeared on my LinkedIn. From her. Not a rant. Not an insult. Not a threat. Just a single, desperate paragraph. And that message, the one she clearly believed would pull me back, is where everything shifted. The LinkedIn message arrived early on a Tuesday morning. I opened my laptop, expecting routine work notifications, and instead saw her name. Brooke S. Message request. It didn't surprise me that she found my profile. What surprised me was her tone. I know you probably won't answer, but please. I'm asking for 5 minutes. I'm not asking for money. I'm not asking you to fix anything. I just need you to hear me. Everything fell apart after you left. Everything. I see now how badly I treated you. Please talk to me. I read it twice. There were no insults, no accusations, no dramatics, just desperation. The kind she never allowed anyone to see. But I didn't feel the pull I used to. No urge to comfort her. No guilt. Just a strange, quiet detachment. I closed the message. I didn't reply. I didn't block her either. I simply let her words exist without giving them power. Life moved on quickly after that. With no emotional chaos waiting for me at home, I started excelling at work. I took on a complicated predictive modeling project that no one else wanted. The system performed better than expected, saving the company millions. 2 months later, I received a promotion, a raise, and my own development team. My work-life balance improved. My sleep returned. For the first time in years, I could breathe without feeling like someone was pushing me underwater. I moved into a new apartment, a bright 1-bedroom with a balcony facing a small park. I chose every piece of furniture myself. Not for someone else's aesthetic. Not to impress anyone. Just for me. And then, unexpectedly, I met someone. Her name was Laurel. She was giving a presentation at a Tech and Design Expo about sustainable architecture. Smart. Funny. Grounded. The kind of person who listens fully when others speak. We talked after her lecture. One conversation turned into several. Coffee turned into dinner. Dinner turned into the kind of connection I didn't realize I had been missing, one without competition, criticism, or performance. We became a couple naturally, without games. Laurel supported my work, teased my dry humor, treated my time like it had value. She was calm where Brooke was chaotic, confident where Brooke was insecure, and kind where Brooke was calculating. We'd been together about 6 months when everything finally came full circle. My team was nominated for a Tech Innovation Award, and the company invited us to a formal gala. Laurel came with me, wearing a deep green dress that made her look effortlessly elegant. We laughed the entire drive there. We laughed when the GPS rerouted us 3 times. We laughed when I accidentally stepped on the hem of my suit pants. And then we walked into the event hall. The place was high-end, chandeliers, velvet curtains, sharply dressed guests. I was scanning the room, thinking about the upcoming presentation, and then my eyes landed on a sight I never expected. Brooke. She wasn't a guest. She wasn't part of any company. She was stationed near the entrance, holding a tray of promotional energy drink samples. Her dress was too bright, too tight, and completely mismatched with the black tie attire around her. Her makeup looked heavy, her expression exhausted. She forced smiles at strangers who walked past without acknowledging her. Then she saw me. Her entire face froze. Her grip tightened on the tray until it shook. She quickly set it down on a narrow table and started walking toward us. "Laurel," I said quietly, "give me a second." Brooke reached me breathless, eyes wide. "Ethan, is that really you? You look incredible." I nodded slightly. "Evening, Brooke." She swallowed hard. "Please don't walk away. I need to explain. I know I was awful to you. I know I said things that were unforgivable. I was listening to the wrong people. I let them convince me that stability meant weakness. I ruined everything." Her voice cracked. People passing nearby began glancing over. "I lost the apartment," she whispered. "I lost the girls. No one wants anything to do with me now. I'm back living with my mom. And you're just fine. You're thriving." Silence stretched between us. She stepped closer. "Please, Ethan. I'm not asking you to take me back. I need to know you don't hate me." I looked at her, really looked at her. Not with anger, not with nostalgia, but with the clarity of someone who had finally stepped out of the fog. "I don't hate you," I said. Her eyes flickered with hope. "But I don't know you anymore," I continued. "And honestly, I don't think I ever really did." She blinked, stunned. "You destroyed my life," she whispered. "Is that nothing to you?" "No," I said calmly. "You destroyed the version of your life that depended on me. There's a difference." Before she could respond, Laurel approached and gently touched my arm. "Everything okay?" she asked softly. I turned to her, instantly relaxing. "Yeah," I said. "Everything's perfect." Brooke stared at Laurel, at her composure, her warmth, her confidence, and something in her expression cracked for good. "I can't believe this," she whispered. "After everything we had, you're just over it?" I met her eyes one last time. "Brooke," I said, "you're not a villain in my life. And you're not a heartbreak I'm carrying around. You're just someone who used to share an apartment with me. Nothing more." Her face crumpled. Laurel slipped her hand into mine. "Let's get some fresh air," she said softly. We walked toward the terrace. I didn't look back. Not even once. Outdoors, with the city lights reflecting on the glass railings, Laurel rested her head on my shoulder. "You sure you're okay?" she asked. I exhaled slowly, a breath I felt like I'd been holding for years. "Yes," I said. "For the first time in a long time, I really am." And that was the real ending. Not the moment I walked out of the apartment. Not the night she begged for a conversation. Not even seeing her at the gala. The true ending was the realization that I didn't owe her closure, because I had already closed that chapter myself. Thanks for listening. What would you have done in my place?